What's going on, guys? If you're recently engaged and you're in the market for a wedding photographer, I wanted to go over a couple of questions that you should definitely be asking your potential candidates before deciding to book them in for your big day. So I put together eight questions that I think are really important. And the first one being is, do you have my date available? In the first message that you send your photographer, you should be including some basic details like your wedding date, your venue, and a little bit of your backstory. Like what attracted you to their portfolio that motivated you to contact them in the first place. What do you like about their work? What do you not like about their work? Kind of the style that you're looking for, and any other ideas or concerns or questions that you might have. That's going to get the conversation going, and it's going to be a lot more than just, hey, what's your price, or something like that. Try to have a genuine conversation. These are people behind the companies. It's a face behind the business. Every single one of us puts in our heart and soul into our work, and we really want to see couples really involved in the process and get excited about the wedding, and we share that excitement with you. So other than the wedding date, the next question I would really be asking your wedding photographer is, can you show us full entire wedding galleries from full wedding? It's really easy to cherry pick the best shots and post them on our Instagrams and portfolios, and then you'll see maybe 3 photos from an entire wedding. But it's really important to see a full wedding gallery and multiple full wedding galleries from beginning to end. Everything from getting ready, the ceremony, first look. Make sure that they are skilled and from a technical perspective enough to capture the moments that really matter throughout the day, and post-process them, and putting in an equal amount of effort into every single image that's captured the entire day. There are photographers out there, there are studios out there that will post-process 100 to 200 images from an entire day and deliver the rest unedited. A lot of couples don't find out about this until after the wedding, and then they're bombarded with extra fees and things like that. So you want to avoid that. Make sure that that information is clear and upfront. So definitely ask them to see full wedding galleries. That way you'll also see how many photos on average they include. You can also ask them, this full wedding gallery that you sent me over, how many hours was it? Was it just one photographer or 2 photographers? Ask them about, kind of like maybe the package that client booked. All of these things really play a role in determining how many photos are delivered in the end, okay? So I generally, for example, deliver anywhere from 700 to 1200 images from an entire day, but that's going to be determined. Was it a 9 or 10 hour wedding, or was it a 13-hour wedding? Did I stay 3 hours overtime? It was a 15-hour day, because that's happened before too. Was it just me? Was it a second photographer as well? Were there other events going on that day, like maybe some cultural ceremonies, so the Asian tea ceremony or a ketubah signing if it's a Jewish wedding? All of those things mean there's gonna be more photos and more things to cover. So my studio's policy is I don't look at delivering a certain amount of images. It's quality over quantity. I never count the images that I'm going to be delivering. Everything that's worth delivering becomes edited. Everything is post-processed, and I give everything the same amount of attention and work after the wedding as any other image, whether it's posted in my portfolio or not. So another important question is, do you bring backup equipment? Guys, I would absolutely never hire a wedding photographer that doesn't bring at least 2 cameras with them to a wedding, okay? Things happen, knock on wood, but it's just the way it is. You need to be prepared as a professional to, in case something goes wrong, you simply pull out another camera or another flash or another lens. Make sure it's ready, waiting for you. Another important thing to consider is majority of professional cameras have 2 memory card slots in every single camera. That means there's one copy being written to the primary card, and then there's a backup copy in case the first memory card fails. There's photographers out there that don't have a camera that has this ability, or they don't use this ability. There's no reason not to in these days, okay? You want to make sure that the photographer is prepared with every single possible backup solution available on the market. If they're taking their job seriously, they're going to be prepared, and they're going to have these options. Backup options also come into play after the wedding. What is their process backing up the photos? The second I'm leaving the wedding, there's, every single image is on 2 memory cards. The second I get home, everything gets loaded off to my computer. That's backed up to another server that I keep. So everything, at any point, there's a minimum 3 copies that I keep redundant in my archives. So I've never ever lost any images because I have a very secure process So there's, the chance of anything failing is slim to none. Next thing, what is your turnaround time for a highlight gallery, a full gallery, an album design, and album delivery? Okay, those are very important questions. It breaks my heart to hear when people are waiting 6 months or a year or sometimes even more before seeing any wedding photos. That's not how I operate. Generally, if the wedding is on a Saturday, by Monday or Tuesday, I'm posting a highlight gallery. Sometimes I have crazy weekends like this next weekend coming up. I have 3 weddings back to back, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So some of those clients are gonna have to wait till Wednesday or Thursday, but generally within at most a week, I send out a highlight gallery, because I'm super excited to share those images, and I feel that there's no reason not to. If this is your full-time business and your customer service, the way that you treat your clients is a priority for you, you're not going to be making people wait weeks on end before they see anything. So my studio's policy is at most within a week you get a highlight gallery, and generally sometimes even as soon as within 1 to 2 weeks you get the full gallery. That's a 700 to 1200 images. Everything is edited. That's not what I officially promise. I officially promise within 4 to 6 weeks for the full gallery. But you should not be waiting more than, I would say, 3 months. I would say that's like the top. If somebody is not doing this full time, if they have a regular job that they're doing Monday to Friday and they're just a weekend warrior, that might be a reason why they take a little bit longer to deliver. But ask those questions. That's another thing. Ask your photographer, is this the only work that they do? Or are they, or do they have a regular job Monday to Friday? Because that's going to impact how fast they respond to your emails throughout the week, and a whole lot of other things you can imagine. So circling back also with the album, how long does it take to get the album proofs, the layouts completed? How long after the wedding do we get to see them and approve them? What does the album design process look like? Do we choose the images? Do you choose the images? Ask them how that process looks like. It's really important to know this stuff in advance before booking the wedding photographer, and not worry about the album or the album design process after the wedding when it's already been photographed and you've already committed to that photographer. So next question is, how will you dress the day of the wedding? It should really not even be a question, honestly, but I've seen other vendors show up in shorts and sandals where everybody else is, dressed very nice, and it's a black tie type of event. It looks ridiculous. I would expect that if they're dressing nice to the meeting, they're probably going to dress nice to the wedding, but it's definitely something that you should bring up, because I've seen it happen and it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look professional. It doesn't look presentable. They should be really blending in with all the rest of the guests. The eyes should not be on them. They should be on you the entire day. They shouldn't be kind of like, the topic of the wedding. Hey, this guy is shooting a wedding in sandals. That's just my opinion, but I just thought it'd be, something important to bring up. One of the things I kind of mentioned before is you should also ask if there are going to be any specific rituals or ceremonies that might be cultural or religious happening on your wedding day, such as before I gave examples of a Chinese tea ceremony or a Jewish ketubah signing. Indian weddings have their own rituals that are going on and different types of ceremonies. So ask your wedding photographer if they've ever photographed something like this before, so they kind of know the ideal angles of where to stand and things like that. If they haven't, that's not a deal breaker, but just it's important to let them know that this is going to be happening, so that at the very least they can do their due diligence, their research, and they, it's as simple as watching a YouTube video online and you're already familiar with what the situation is going to look like and what to expect. So I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but it's definitely something worth mentioning so they're aware and they're as prepared as possible. All right, so guys, I hope this video helped. If I would love to hear more questions that you think would be important to ask your wedding photographer. If you're not already following me on Instagram, follow me along at Redziniak. I post a whole bunch of videos, and my stories are always full of wedding highlights and things like that, so make sure to check regularly. Also check me out on JakubRedziniak.com if you're looking for a wedding photographer. I'd love to chat. I do weddings primarily in the New York City area, Long Island, New Jersey, also travel all around the world doing destination stuff. So you can look at all of that work over on my website or my Instagram. So yeah, hope this video helped. And definitely, keep those questions in mind as you're doing your research and you're meeting with different photographers. I also highly recommend, by the way, scheduling an in-person meeting or at the very least a Skype call, so you get to meet them, sort of face to face and assess their personality and things like that. All right, so that's that for today, guys. I'll see you at the next one.